This ABC 15 News Update is sponsored by Sanderson Ford, America's best-selling Ford dealership.
And good morning on a Monday. Nick Saletti here with our top stories. Wicked monsoon storms hitting the valley with wind gusts at Phoenix Sky Harbor, topping 86 miles per hour. The airport getting more than 6/10 of an inch of rain, the most one-day rainfall so far this year. Thousands of APS and SRP customers losing power overnight. Crews working around the clock to get it turned back on. Interim Phoenix Police Chief Michael Sullivan begins today. Sullivan taking over for retiring Jerry Williams. Chief Sullivan is a former Baltimore Deputy Police Commissioner and will lead the department through that DOJ investigation. Your Voice, Your Vote, a debate between the candidates for Arizona's governor no longer happening. Democrat Katie Hobbs making that announcement Sunday, saying she is not going to debate Republican Kari Lake. That decision coming after more than a week of efforts by Hobbs to change the debate into separate half-hour interviews with the moderator. That request was rejected. A vigil held Sunday night in the East Valley for a recent high school grad who died in a fiery crash in Queen Creek. Caleb Rodriguez just graduated from Florence High School. Friends and family gathered, sharing memories and lighting candles at the very spot he took his last breath. Caleb's mom saying she told her son to call if he needed a ride home from a party, a phone call that was never made.
But this choice cost my son his life. And I can't get it back.
Pretty much.
But for everyone else watching, they can make a better choice and they can come home.
We're told Caleb didn't know the driver, who is now facing manslaughter and aggravated assault charges. Two other passengers that were in the car, a 17 and a 13-year-old, remain in the hospital. Water restrictions are happening at the Grand Canyon, effective immediately. Park officials say a series of breaks in the Trans Canyon water line is the reason the park is in conservation mode. No word on how long the repairs will take. For now, restaurants in the park will be using disposable dishes and utensils and serving water by request only. 1 week from today, the funeral will be held for Queen Elizabeth II. This morning, preparations for the funeral are already underway. National reporter Chris Conti is in London with more on what to expect.
Good morning from outside Westminster Abbey. It will be here inside this sacred space that the funeral for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II will be held in exactly 1 week. This place, of course, holds all kinds of important significance for the royal family, from Prince William and Kate's wedding to Princess Diana's funeral. Well-wishers and media from across the globe are expected to gather here over the next 7 days. Crews were busy preparing the church as the eyes of the world will be watching this historic moment. A busy weekend as well for Britain's newest monarch, King Charles III. He was officially proclaimed England's king in a ceremony that's gone on for centuries, but was televised for the first time in history. We watched as thousands of people, Brits and Americans, clamored for a space to catch a glimpse of history and the new king.
God save the king!
Meanwhile, at the Palace of Westminster, they are preparing for the arrival of the Queen's coffin later this week, where she will lie in state. During the lying in state, members of the public will have the opportunity to visit Westminster Hall to pay their respects to the Queen. Today, the royal family will receive the Queen's coffin in Scotland. Having sat on the throne for 70 years, the 96-year-old's passing triggers a national time of mourning here in the UK. President Biden, along with other dignitaries from the U.S., are expected to travel here for her funeral. In London, I'm Chris Conti.
Time for that most accurate forecast. I'm meteorologist Iris Hermosillo. We've got flood watches posted for northern and eastern Arizona today, including some of that higher terrain in parts of the north and northeast valley. As we go into today and through late tonight, these alerts are in place. We could see more thunderstorms. We'll have to watch for that. First, the rain winds down this morning, and then we see some clearing. As we get some daytime heating by lunchtime, storms get going to our north along the rim in spots like Flagstaff, and then eventually to our south. And those storms to our south could move into the valley or produce new storms in the Phoenix area. Some of them could be strong or severe. Heavy rain will be possible too, along with that threat for flooding. A high of 98 today, so back into the 90s with that lower storm threat today. Mid to upper 90s to our west and 70s and 80s across northern Arizona. We'll enjoy a few days in the 90s. Another chance for thunderstorms tomorrow, at least through the morning. Then we're drying things out by midweek, and notice what's happening to those temperatures. They're going to heat back up with highs in the hundreds in time for the weekend.
For the latest headlines, weather, and traffic, go to ABC15.com. Just download our free ABC15 mobile app.
This ABC 15 News Update is sponsored by Sanderson Ford, America's best-selling Ford dealership.